have so much economic opportunity that they believe.
How come international law feels so toothless sometimes, but post-World War II world is much more stable? I don't think international law is toothless. Here's something that I found while reading the Israeli shit, which feels kind of lame, and it feels stupid because I'm doing like oh, I'm so smart and no one else understands or blah, blah, blah. But I mean, you guys are smart too because you're part of this. You have the world of, you've got like, actually, I guess Hillary Clinton put it best. You've got like a public position and a private position. The public position is kind of what you tell everybody. The private position is like, what do politicians actually try and do? The problem is that the public is stupid. They're just dumb. They're simple. They fall prey to a whole bunch of like dumb meme political tricks and rhetoric and blah, blah, blah. The public are dumb. But in a democracy, and this is probably a good thing, in a democracy, private people, and even to some extent in authoritarian dictatorships, your politicians get their mandate to rule from the public. In a democracy, that's directly true. In a dictatorship, it's true because if you lose too much public support, then you're going to get coup d'etat. So what happens is you live in a world where you have to maneuver through things that are happening in the real world, but you also have to play this separate game of, what do I tell the public to get them off my back, basically. And this is the art of politics, basically. So something that I brought up earlier, if you've heard me make these arguments before, a lot of times people, let's take the 6 Day War, for example, okay? I've argued with, I think, Axel, with a bunch of other people, I've argued a lot for the 6 Day War that Egypt and the surrounding Arab states were readying up to attack Israel. That Israel's preemptive attack, I think, was easily justified because it was obvious that the Arab states were going to attack, right? That was the interpretation I had prior to reading this book. Maybe my opinion will change back. Now, when I look at the situation, having even more context, it seems like what actually happened was the countries surrounding Israel were basically playing a dangerous game where the public is looking at their leaders and they're saying, we need you to do something, right? So in Jordan, Hussein, King of Jordan. It's Hussein the First, Abdullah, and then Hussein the Second, right? And then Abdullah the Second. There's literally like 3 names to these stupid fucking kings. Or is it Abdullah, Hussein, and then Abdullah the Second? Like, actually cringe shit. Okay, Abdullah was assassinated by a Palestinian. Go figure. Talal, no one cares about. And then we've got Hussein. Then we got Abdullah the Second. Okay, Abdullah the Second. So, okay. I need to remember. I always mix up the Jordanian kings. Sorry. So in the country surrounding Israel, Hussein is losing legitimacy because his public hates him. Because they're arguing for fights with Israel. You've got, right, this is back when Jordan had all the West Bank, and Jordan doesn't want to go to war with Israel because they don't know if they can win, and they've got issues at home, and it's just a lot. They've already absorbed all these Palestinians. It's rough, right? So what does the king do? Well, incidents happen where Israel is attacking and doing these reprisal attacks on these Palestinians. Israel is attacking into Jordan. Jordan's getting fucked, but Jordan doesn't want to go to war. So what does the king do? Well, I can't go to war. I know I can't go to war. Well, what does the public think? Okay, well, I'm going to go call out another leader. I'll call out Nasser in Egypt, okay? I'm going to call out Nasser. I'll say, Nasser, you pussy-ass bitch motherfucker. You're a dog of the UN, okay? Pan-Arab state, you've got UN peacekeeping forces all along the Sinai, okay? And Israel is fucking us up. Why don't you do something, you coward fucking cuck? And Nasser looks, and he's like, okay, well, I've committed 70,000 troops to an unironic fucking Vietnam in Yemen. My shit is fucked. So that's privately, he knows that. He's not ready for war with Israel, right? He can forge an alliance with the Syrians, and even with Jordan, but like they probably can't. So, but you can't say that publicly because now the Jordanian king has cucked you. Now you're fucked. Now you actually do look weak. So what does he do? Okay, well, fuck it. He expels all of the troops from the Sinai, and now he starts setting up Egyptian fortifications and he mobilizes his army there. It's like, okay, well, look at me. Look what I've done. I actually have done this. So fuck you. Look, we're ready. We're going to kill every blade of grass we see a fucking Jew behind. We're going to kill all these Israeli people, blah, 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 right? So, and then in Syria, Israel and Syria are fighting back and forth over and over and over again as this conflict happens as well. So what's happening is, I think that the start of the Six-Day War, while the the Arab nations probably weren't going to attack, all of the politicians were engaged in this brinkmanship where they're constantly riling they're edging and gooning and stroking their populations over and over again, inflaming the hatred against Israel. But they're doing that as a substitution to going to war because they don't want to go to war because they know they'll lose privately. But publicly, they can't admit that because they're fucking Jews. Are you serious? We're Arabs. How do we not crush these guys, right? So I think that this was like the inevitable train crash between the mounting, inflaming rhetoric of all of the Arab leaders who are constantly pushing and bullying each other to do something, and then the Israeli people are all like, oh, hey, well, we got Holocausted, and you guys seem fucking insane, and you guys might actually attack us, so we're going to go attack you. This is like my current understanding for the start of the Six-Day War. So Israel did attack first. That's undisputed. Were the Arab states going to attack? Probably not. I don't necessarily think so. But who was at fault for the war starting? I mean, it's the Arabs that engaged in insane rhetoric leading up to that as a way to assuage their populations as a replacement for actually going to war. It's basically audience capture for YouTubers, except for leaders. All of that to say, sorry, this is a huge roundabout way of explaining that politicians make statements publicly sometimes, but they're just doing it to massage their population. They don't actually mean it. That's why when we look at statements that leaders make, for instance, we might see genocidal statements from Israeli leaders right now. Well, is the army acting genocidally? No. But why? Well, if we make genocidal statements for the public, then the public will see these statements and the public will be like, good, yes, kill Palestinians, fuck these guys. They literally terrorist attacked us. But privately, Israel can't lose the support of the United States. Even Netanyahu doesn't want to lose the support of it. So privately, you make these commitments to things like international law, because that was the original question. It seems like international law is pointless. International law only seems pointless because the public has a poor understanding of it. That's why you get people screaming about genocide, all these random war crimes. Well, the public doesn't know. War crimes to the public are just kind of thrown around. But privately, adhering to international customary law is very, very, very important. You want to do the things that everybody expects you to do, because when you become uncontrollable, when you become unhinged, people won't trust you and won't want to be your partner. So that's why international law is important. It's important for the private feelings or the private maneuverings that politicians are doing with other countries. It's not as relevant for public statements because people will just say whatever the fuck to basically make populations calm the fuck down, especially in a democracy. But even in an autocracy or autocracy? Am I using that word correctly? Autocracy. Wait, autark means you're self-sufficient, right? Autarky. Autocracy is one leader. Yes. Okay. Or one position of maximum power. What was the name for it? What is it called when you're completely self-sufficient? I think it's autarky, right? Economic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, there you go. Sorry. Fuck. That was a little bit scatterbrained, but.